What is your profession?
So here we have 1500 points of Black Templars. Starting off, we have a battalion which is led by a chaplain, lieutenant and captain. The chaplain has just got his Crozius Arcanum and a bolt pistol. The lieutenant has a power sword and mastercrafted bolter, and the captain has a power sword, storm shield and mastercrafted bolter. We then have 2 squads of Crusaders. Each one has got 5 Marines and 5 Neophytes, and both have got a heavy bolter, a plasma gun and a combi plasma. Then behind them we've got 2 more squads of Crusaders, both 7-man units. The first one has lightning claws, a plasma gun and a power sword, and the rest have got bolt pistol and chainsword. And we have another Crusader squad which has got a combi flamer and a power sword, a flamer, a power axe, and then everyone else has got bolt pistol and chainsword. And finally we have the Land Raider Crusader. It's got 2 hurricane bolters, a storm bolter and twin assault cannon. Moving on to my second detachment, I have a Vanguard detachment led by the Emperor's Champion. In there are 3 Cenobite servitors, a squad of Terminators, and they have 3 Storm Bolters and Power Fists, 1 Assault Cannon and Power Fist, and the Sergeant has a Storm Bolter and Power Sword. And then we have the Vanguard Veterans, 5 of them. The Sergeant has a Power Sword and a Plasma Pistol. 2 other guys have got power swords and plasma pistols, and then there's 2 at the back which have just got bolt pistol and chainsword. So there we go, that's 1500 points of Black Templars. Let's see what we're facing off against today. There we go.
Okay, facing against Black Templars, we have an Ork army containing 2 detachments. First one is a battalion detachment with a big mech-in mega armor with custom force field. The war boss there, who is also the warlord, with the Dakilla Claw and Brutal and Cunning.
Nice.
Then we've got the troops. We've got a squad of 20 boys, all with shooters, with 2 big shooters and a power claw knob. 30 boys, same as that, but with 3 big shooters, power claw and the knob.
Very nice, very nice.
Third troop choice, 15 got splashes and shield. Then got a squad of 6 tank busters, all with rockets, truck, and Dakka jet with extra 2 super shooters, so it's got 6 super shooters in total.
That's a lot of shooter.
It is. And then we've got a spearhead attachment with a weird boy who's got the jump power, squadron of smasher guns, squadron of tractor cannons, and a Morknaut with a custom force field.
Nice. Is that 1500 points on the nose?
15 points on the nose.
That's absolutely fantastic. So we'll go through the Warlord traits, relics and psychic powers just in a moment. So here we have the Warlord traits and relic bearers for the Black Templars. On the left, the chaplain is going to be the Warlord today, and he is going to have the Rights of War Warlord trait, which means everyone around him is going to be fearless. And the lieutenant, as tradition, is going to have the Crusader helm, which means his buffing auras go up to 9 inches now. And there's obviously no psychic powers in the Black Templar army. Okay, so here we have the Warlord. What's he got today in?
The Warlord's got Brutal but Cunning, allows him to reroll hits in the fight phase for attacks made by my Warlord. In addition, I get 1 extra damage to his melee weapon.
Nice.
If it's the same turn he finished the charge, was charged, or performed heroic intervention.
Excellent.
And his relic is the Killer Claw. It's Power Fist without the negative. It's obviously strength ×2, so it's strength 12, minus 3 AP, damage 3, but because of his Warlord trait, it's damage 4.
So he's just going to tear through anything.
Tear through anything, yeah, and he can reroll wounds for attacks made like weapons.
So that real hits and wounds.
Which is really horrible. And then we have the Weird Boy, who has the classic power from the Index, which came across into the Codex, the jump. So I get to pick a unit of Orks within 12 inches and teleport them anywhere across the battlefield 9 inches away from the enemy.
So it's like Orc Gate of Infinity.
Orc Gate of Infinity.
It's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to be seeing Orcs jumping all over the place in this battle and crushing things to death in close combat. So let's take a look at the battlefield and the mission after deployment. So here we have the field of battle after deployment. Grots shielding boys, shielding cannons, trucks and Morkanauts in the centre, and then more boys and tractor cannons over there with the Dakka jet coming screaming in down the Orc right flank. Coming over here to the Templar force, we've got the Crusaders fanned out, screening the Land Raider Crusader, which has got our 2 choppy Crusader squads and the Chaplain and Emperor's Champion there, and the Terminators and Vanguard Veterans are in the sky. So today's deployment is Hammer and Anvil, if you haven't already guessed, and the mission is going to be Maelstrom, and we're going to play Contact Lost, and what that means is there are 6 objectives on the board. Turn 1 you generate 1 objective, and then from turn 2 onwards you generate 1 objective for each token, each objective marker that you hold, up to a maximum of 6. So board control is going to be really important here, because without it you're not going to be able to get your cards and therefore get your points. So I'll tell you what, we'll roll off to see who gets first turn. The Templars deploy first, they get a +1, and we get a 6, so you can't get it. No, and do you want to try and seize?
Yeah. No.
No, so we will be back at the end of Black Templars turn 1. So a bit of a lackluster Black Templar turn, but we're not really a shooting army. For our first card we got no prisoners. We tried to go for the grots, but unfortunately 3 were left alive, and then Ian spent 2 command points to keep them around. You might think, why is spending 2 command points on 3 grots? Stop me getting no prisoners and stop me getting first blood, so he's denied me 2 points there. And then everything else, this heavy bolter fired a hellfire round into here. I had to use a command point, but did 3 mortal wounds to it. And then various fire came over here and did 2 wounds to the truck. So that's it. We'll be back at the end of Orkz turn 1. So that was a pretty good Orc turn 1. Everything moved forward. The truck went very far forward. And then in the psychic phase, the weird boy tried to jump this big old blob of orcs, but thanks to Abhor the Witch, the Black Templars were able to deny it, so that didn't go off. So in retaliation for stopping their fun, the Orcs unloaded from everything in the plane into the captain. He was actually on the bottom floor, but I was pretty lucky with my saves, and he's still got 2 wounds left. Rockets went into the Land Raider, and I have 7 wounds left, but they did have to use lots of command points to fire twice and various things. But even then, it was still a pretty good volley. Yeah, these things fluffed it, unfortunately, which was a bit of a shame, because their rules are really interesting. If they hit, they try and, if they overwhelm your damage, you just take like D6 wounds, something crazy. And then the tractor cams, which everyone thinks are super overpowered, failed to wound, which was a bit of a shame. But the highlight of the match was all the Orc Daka went into the Marine squad here, and there was 1 guy left, and he wasn't going to run away because of the Cenobite services just down here. So then the Orcs spent their last 2 command points. So on turn 1, the Orcs have used every command point they have. All 9 command points. Oh no, they used it in 2 in my turn 1, and then 7 in their own turn. Between rerolls and crush them and more Daka. And showing off. They were able to, but in this final, they used all the command points, but in their final bit of damage of the game, they charged into this captain using, what's it called?
Ramming speed.
Ramming speed, that was their last 2 command points. What ramming speed does is if he makes contact with you, he does D3 mortal wounds in addition to his other damage. He made it, crushed the last guy that was there, and then he did take 2 damage from an overwatching plasma gun for his efforts. So there we go. 1 squad of Crusaders wiped out, another one's lost 3 guys. My captain's taken 2 wounds, so the Orcs are looking pretty strong, but let's see if the Black Templar reinforcements can make a big difference. So the Black Templars got hit hard last turn, but they have retaliated very strongly against these Orcs. Terminators deep struck in amongst the lines to provide fire support, and between the Land Raider Crusader unloaded into the tank busters here after moving up and just wiped them out, and then everything else that also moved forward. The guys got out of the Land Raider and they all pretty much unloaded into these boys, killed them down to just a few. And then I had roughly 4 7-inch charges to make, and this 1 squad didn't make it in. I really needed them to get in with a reroll because they need to be able to wipe these boys out, because they didn't wipe them out. We did a lot of damage. There's only 5 left after close combat. The squad killed 1, the chaplain killed 1, and I think the champion killed 1 basically. Sergeant killed 1, axe guy killed 1, chainsaws killed 1, and then each character killed 1. So not anywhere near as much as I should have done. I was rolling a lot of 1s and 2s to wound, and then because I didn't wipe them out, even though they'd taken such high casualties, Warboss over there just broke the skull of 3 of his boys, and they stuck around. In the end, it didn't matter too much because these guys deep struck down here and were able to kill 2 grots and the last one ran away. And that was important. And that was important because of my cards, you see, because I had no mercy, no respite, and no prisoners, and I was able to wipe out 3 units. The tank busters, the truck got wiped out by some plasma and a hellfire round. Tank busters and the grot. So that was 3, which meant I got 2d3. And I got 3 on 1 and 1 on the other percent out 4 points. So even though the Orcs have currently got 2 points, they got their first objective, which was wipe a unit out in the shooting phase. They got that very easily, and they also got the first blood as well. So that is 2 points to the Orcs and 4 points to Black Templars. Let's see how the Orcs can retaliate to this big old Black Templar blob. So the Orcs did what they had to do there. Basically, all the shooting little small arms went into the 7-man Marine squad and managed to strip them away, which meant the Orcs were able to finally score that, give them some Dako. I thought they scored at turn 1, but they didn't. They killed that Marine running it over in turn 1. Turn 2, they've actually managed to get that point. And then these 3 things charged into the Emperor's Champion and the Chaplain, and they just died. There was nothing they could do against 12 attacks with the Morkanaut, and then Big Mac didn't even need to attack. The Warlord killed my Warlord, and the Morkanaut just squashed the Emperor's Champion. So the Orcs were on 2 points, the Black Templars are on 3 points, sorry, because they got Warlord. Black Templars are on 4 points, we've got a Morkanaut. This thing's got 17 wounds left, and it's really tough. Let's see what we can do to it going into my turn 3. A pretty quick summary this turn. The Black Templars poured every last shot, and it came down to pretty much the last few bolt rounds from this very, very badly damaged Land Raider Crusader, and we were able to bring down the Morkanaut. It had 17 wounds left, but my plasma, all in rapid fire range, it really did work. The custom force field let him down a little bit, unfortunately, so that was a little unlucky. It didn't explode, and we were able to grind it down. And then we charged all these guys. The Vanguards jumped over, and everyone charged into the Big Mech and the War Boss. The Power Fist completely flubbed it, even with rerolls from these guys. And basically it came down to the very last near-fight combat blade. We managed to finally kill that Warlord, and but we didn't do any damage to the Big Mech, who in return just snipped the head off a Vanguard veteran with his Power Claw there. So going into Orc turn 3, both sides pretty battered and bloodied. I imagine the Land Raider's going to go now, and with that gone, both sides are going to have lost their main sort of anchor castle unit, and it's going to come down to a bit of a slog. So, but the Orcs, of course, have air superiority. So let's see how they fare going into their turn 3. I should say I got Kingslayer for my card, and I got the Warlord and managed to get 2 points. So I've been a little lazy and I haven't really been covering the Orc objectives, so I'm just doing a quick catch-up sort of turn 3. The Orcs have managed to score, give them some Daka. They got that in turn 2. They discarded Psychological Warfare because of my Cenobite Servitors and my Warlord, and they're now going into their turn 3. They've got to defend objective 2, which they're conga lining back to do there. Mission critical objective, objective 1, which is that one there, and assassinate. They've got to kill either my lieutenant or my captain. My captain only has 2 wounds left. They may struggle to get him, but let's see what happens going into the Orc turn 3. So both sides have gone punch for punch. The Orcs, in retaliation for losing their Morkanaut, took away the shiny gubbins of the Black Templars and destroyed the Land Raider. It was the was a smasher gun?
Yes.
Smasher gun. First one I managed to save on a 6. And I also saved 2 of these things as well. So I was making loads of 6-up saves. And then this thing just came in and just said, no, I've had enough of this now. And absolutely annihilated it. So that Land Raider did go. It did explode. I was very lucky. Oh, this guy's actually dead. I was very lucky. 1 wound on the captain, because if he'd taken 2 wounds, he would have died. 2 wounds on the lieutenant, he's still alive. And then 1 neophyte died from here. In the Orc shooting phase, they were able to kill the Assault Marines and the Vanguard veteran, and they killed this guy down to just himself. He failed his leadership check, but then passed it on the reroll. He looked at his own flag and went, "I've got to be brave." And then the boys over here the Termies saved a load of sort of small arms fire, and then the boys charged in. They were hoping that Power Claw could just tear through some Termies. Unfortunately, even though the knob hit twice, he only wounded once, and then I made up my 5-up Crux in Terminatus save, I think it is, the 5-up Invuln. In return, my Power Fist just smooshed them, and then I actually consolidated 3 inches towards this objective, which actually meant the Orcs didn't score it. So it was a real... sort of shame for the Orcs that they could have had a big win there, and unfortunately it sort of rebounded back onto them. But as it is, they have started defending Objective 2. They've removed this Land Raider. They've removed a lot of Black Templars now. That Dakka Jet is really putting in some work, and I think it is going to swing this game in the final turns towards the Orcs. Let's see what the Black Templars can do. Should have said, I forgot to mention it, the Orcs, I finally ran out of command points. I had been abhorring the Witch and stopping them from dejumping all game. They finally dejumped, and they got that Big Mech out of trouble, and that's how he got over here, because if they hadn't done that, I would have been surrounded with, he would have been surrounded, couldn't have got out of combat, and they wouldn't have been able to shoot me. So it's a really good bit of tactics from the Orcs. I think this Big Mech likes to think himself as a bit of a blood axe. Black Templar turn 4. And we drew 1 card for the Emperor, make a charge. We're definitely going to do that. Very fitting for the Black Templars. Essentially what happened is these guys shot everything into him, and he actually did really well and made like 3 out of 4 Invuln saves. So that was really good. There was overcharged plasma, and then made 3 wounds from this heavy bolter and 4 wounds from the bolter. So my guys were really laying on the fire, but it's mega armor, so it actually did what it's meant to do for once. Everything else then fired into the boys. We did 13 damage to them. They only had 7 guys left. They couldn't pass the leadership check, and sadly the last ones broke and fled. No warboss to keep them around this time. And to get that successful charge, the Termies, who had absolutely strafed into the boys, charged into the weird boy and just exploded him with power fists. And then that's it pretty much. So the Orcs have got their Big Mech, their really nasty play, and all their artillery left. Let's see what they can do going into their turn 4. So Black Templar turn was very quick, considering we've only got 6 models left on the board. Terminators, I should say we drew secure objective 5, which was this one over here. Terminators fell back behind this wall because we realised the plane's going to have to fly this way, and then it's probably going to struggle to see me. And then it's going to be down to some sort of moving mech guns to try and remove these Termies. Then the lone sergeant and 2 characters came over here, and the sergeant didn't make it into combat, but this lieutenant and the captain did. Should say that Ian was very gracious and let me actually attack with my Cenobite servitor last turn, who hit, wounded, and the mech boy failed a 2-up save, so a little servitor, kind of like some ancient relic, sort of poked something in the mech boy's arm and it just shut down.
It's disgusting score thrown at me.
And then, and then the 2 characters charged in. The captain actually hit and wounded twice, and he made 2 5-up saves. The lieutenant got in there, hit 3 times, wounded twice, and unfortunately he failed both saves, and the mech boy did go down. But it was a bit close there. So going into Orc turn 5 now, they have the fire superiority. We have secured objective 5, so we've got a bit of a lead in the points, but it's really going to come down to how the Orcs can play this shooting game. So turn 4 Orcs, I actually thought it was turn 5, so that's a bit of a mistake on my part. Basically, these smasher grabber guns just annihilated the servitor down there, absolutely destroyed him. And the tractor cannon's got double 1 to wound against these Terminators and didn't kill him. Just coming over to the Orc objectives, they managed to score grab the loot this turn, which is objective 4, and they still have assassinate, a mission critical objective to score as well. Oh, you threw away secure objective 6 because it's all the way over there. So the turns are getting really quick now. It's turn 5 Black Templar. Still now it's still down to 6 models. Let's see what we can do points wise. So I drew Lightning Strike and Scour the Skies. I tried to kill this thing. I wasn't able to do it. It's got 2 wounds left, and I've just moved everything to fire into it, and then I got rid of Scour the Skies, so there we go. Great, very quick turn 5 for Black Temple. So the Orcs were able to bring this Dakka over here and kill that lieutenant. I'd left him a bit exposed, so I was hoping to gain a point myself, so that was a little unfortunate from me. And then everything else sort of tried to fire into these Terminators, but I made my saves, and I should say this artillery piece was able to move in advance. So that's it, that's potentially the end of the game. Orcs turn 5. Let's see if the game goes on. It does, So let's see what happens at the end of Black Templar turn 6. So the Black Templars, the Terminators, who have been absolutely excellent in this match, they managed to kill that with a burst of fire, and then they charged over here and just, with their power fist, just tore this mech kind of limb from limb. The other thing to say is the captain did a tactical shuffle and he got behind this sergeant so that when this plane flies over, he won't be the nearest. So we managed to score 2 points. We've got Lightning Strike and behind enemy lines. Let's see how the Orks are going to do going into their turn 6. So the Orks got, they still haven't managed to get mission potential objective 1 yet. Advancing to get everything out of their deployments, and they may do it. More speed, go faster. Score 1 victory point if 3 or more Orc units from the army advance in this turn. The Orcs have 3 units. They can get it. That's a point. And defend objective 6. They're not going to get that one. So let's see how the Orc turn plays out. So the Orcs got more speed, go faster, and then this Dakka jet, it was hitting on 5 because it advanced. It was just in range of actually was fairly easily in range of these Terminators. Unloaded everything, but only got 6 hit, 3 wounds, and only 1 wound went through on this little Stormbolter Terminator. So, do you want to roll to see if it goes on? It does not, so it's end. So let's tally up the points and see what the final score was. So we've totted up the final score. The Orcs were able to get 10 points. They got First Blood, Warlord, and Linebreaker. And the Black Templars were able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 for Linebreaker 10 and 1 for Warlord 11. So the Black Templars have managed to secure it by 1 victory point. What an absolutely fantastic game. Really fluffy, really cinematic. I don't think either side was really being tactical or gamey. We were just, Orcs were shooting things, Black Templars were charging things. Absolutely fantastic game. So thank you, Ian, for playing.
No worries.
And we'll see you guys next time.